Hey y'all, it's Jofer, the cranky old gay guy. And first of all, we're going to talk about what's making me cranky right now. And that is that I came out here in the back to record this and I got it all set up. And as soon as I pushed record, the neighbor turned on their lawnmower across the street. And it's been going now for over a half hour. And I thought it stopped. So now I'm back, but you might be able to hear it in the background. Now they're using a metal weed eater. So that's what you're going to hear in the background. On to today's topic. Get cranky when people tell me what I can and can't do. So bite me, people. And when I say that, I mean you have goals, dreams, aspirations as you grow up. I thought I would be an actor. And when I got out of college, my agent was saying, continue to college, get your degree, something to fall back on. And that way, if it doesn't work out or you need to supplement your income, you can get a job. So I went ahead and did that. And then I went through the interview process. It's like a job fair on campus for seniors to see where you can work. And all these big companies come in and they recruit you. And it's a point system. Everyone's given, I don't know, let's say 1,000 points. And they're little cards. And each card is worth 100 points. So you have to go around to different companies and say, oh, I really want an interview. So if this is the only company I want, I'm going to put all my cards on the table for them. If you spread your cards out because you maybe are interested in working or interviewing with several companies, you give them one or two cards. They only have so many slots for interviews. And the people who've given them 10 cards or 9 cards or 8 are the ones who are going to get the interview. So I thought that was pretty biased in that they're being very selective. So I wasn't willing to put all my cards on one table. It didn't make sense to me because what are the chances, 1 in the 50 that it would be me that they picked? I guess that, I don't know, my inner intuition said, don't do this. And after that job fair, I decided I did not want to go into business at all. I wanted to just go back and pursue acting. So I graduated and I moved home and I said, hey, Mom, I want to go do some theater and some commercials right now and see where that leads. I want to take a couple months. And she goes, okay, that's fine. You can stay here. Great. So I went out that day and I did some auditions and looked for stuff. And I got home that evening and she said, oh, by the way, we are moving in 2 weeks. So you can come with us or you can rent this house. Well, I certainly didn't want to move where they were moving, which was small town nowhere. And I couldn't pay rent on the house for the whole house unless I had a full-time job. So that pushed me back into retail, which I told myself I would never work again once I got out of college. And I did that for a long time afterwards. I should have trusted my gut when I came out of college because I had pretty much no debt. I had a small loan that I hadn't finished paying off yet for college. And that was a private loan through a bank. I should have just moved to LA like, all of these young stars and starlets do and try to get work in the industry, maybe not in front of the camera, but as an assistant or in finance or at a studio. That's what I should have done. That makes me cranky too, all that noise. So that's what I should have done, and I didn't. So instead, I ended up working retail and doing auditions and local commercials, that kind of thing. Moved into a retail warehouse for returns. Bought a house because I thought that the market was going to jump and I needed to get one before I wouldn't be able to afford one. I didn't make a lot of money. And shortly after I bought the house, prices did jump and I would not have been able to afford it. But that also locked me in. So when I left the warehouse, I had an injury. So I broke my back in 3 places. So I was in the shell for a while. And when I finally got out of the shell, the job, I had a lot of physical restrictions, and the job said, well, we've got nothing for you. They wouldn't fire me, but they wouldn't let me work either. So I had to go back to the union and get on disability, and it's a long story. But what I should have done was pack up, like I said, while I was still youthful, and move to LA and pursue the acting thing. But I didn't, because now I had a house and I had a house payment. And I looked at LA prices, and there's no way I could afford a house in LA. And this was back in like 94. So imagine now, I mean, you move to LA, you don't have a job, you don't have a place to live, you don't have a huge savings. I would have had to sell my house, and which I'd only had for 2 years, so, or 2.5. So I wouldn't have a lot of equity in it. So I wouldn't have a lot to live on, and that would run out probably 3 to 6 months. And anyway, I didn't do it, but that is the one real regret that I have in my career, is that that's what I should have done. Instead, I have done a series of jobs and little careers and stayed in the Portland metro area, because one house led to a house and a condo, which led to another house. And no, I don't own all of those. I sold the condo before I bought the house I'm in now, and used my other house as a rental, and eventually sold that. And again, that's another story that involves an ill parent. So that's the regret that I have. So I guess what I would say is, don't let other people tell you the way things are if you in your heart know there's something else. If someone tells you that, and I mentioned this in my little video, that you cannot go topless as a guy on YouTube because you're too old, bite me. Okay? If someone tells you that you cannot wear that shirt because it makes you look too flamboyant and gay, tell them to F off, or tell them that you are gay, or that you're not gay, or, well, I'm happy to present as gay because that I'm an ally to the community, etc. What I'm saying is that don't let others' influence keep you from your dream. If your parents are telling you you have to be a doctor, you have to go to school to be a doctor, you have to be a professional, you have to be a doctor, you have to make this much money, but your heart is in the arts and you want to do music or theater or opera, and the only way they're going to pay for college is if you take what they want. Well, get into college, start taking the side classes. After the first year, dwindle down the medical stuff or whatever. You know, you don't have to get great grades either. You're not showing your grades to your parents. You're just showing that you're there. And then start the other. And over a time, work out a way that you can do your arts full time. And then just quit taking the medical classes or whatever your parents wanted. School's paid for now. Make sure that it's not going to, I don't know your parents, but make sure that whoever's paying for your education isn't going to just cut you off immediately, because you don't want to be stuck with no training. Now, if you've had a couple years of the arts and you're working in that on the side as a volunteer or something, you might be able to get a job in it and survive, and let your other education be cut off. But pursue what you want, get the degree that you want, because just having a degree, I have a degree in business administration, finance, that does not guarantee you a job. In fact, other than you being moved to the top of a list because you have they'll say, oh, well, you went to college, so you're eligible for this, to apply for this position. It doesn't mean that you're going to get the job, and it doesn't mean that job's going to pay well. So follow your heart, follow your dream. Don't listen to what other people say. If you want to be a fashion designer and you want to wear funky clothes that draw a lot of attention, do it. Because as a fashion designer, you want to get a lot of attention. Even if it's terrible, terrible design and terrible quality, people are going to see that you're being creative. And then in time, as that changes, it gets better and better. You make a name for yourself, or you rebrand and you have years of experience doing crap work, and now you're a high-end brand with excellent work, and you just change your logo, you change your name. Businesses do it all the time. Design houses are they're named after the designer that started them, but rarely is the designer that started them the one that's actually doing the designs. So that's just one thing. This subject was brought up by a viewer who suggested that I cover the subject of what you know is right compared to what people tell you is right, or what you know is as opposed to what they tell you is. And the way they phrase the question, I believe that I've covered it. Follow your heart. I think that's kind of what they were getting at. Um, and I hope it is. So, Merlin, if you are watching this, leave a comment down below and let me know that I covered what you were thinking about. Okay, that's it for now. I am going to leave my birthday shirt on, and I'm going to probably go in the house for a bit and vacuum because it needs it. Because believe it or not, cranky old gay guys have housework to do, and house upkeep, and yard upkeep, and pet upkeep, and everything any other household has, the cranky old gay guy has to do too. I wish my life was just like dancing on a pole in a nightclub and maybe a Vegas stage topless. That would be fun. But those days are so far behind me. I didn't work in those areas, and I doubt I could work in them now. Please like, subscribe, share this, leave a comment, refer me to anyone and everyone. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Any interaction that you have with this channel tells YouTube that I have interaction, and I'm sorry, I just said that it's an active channel and people are watching. So the algorithm is going to move me up, 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 which means that if you move up, YouTube does recommendations to viewers of what channels they might be interested in. The more interaction I'm having with people, the higher that goes in the algorithm, which means that I start getting promoted to other viewers that may or may not be interested. Pretty much, I'm looking at my analytics, and oh boy, most of my viewers are 60 plus, and they're men. In fact, 99% of my viewers are men. And although I know I have younger viewers in their 20s and 30s because they've messaged me, the analytics show that the youngest viewer I have is 45. I don't know how long it takes for the algorithm to update. So tell your friends. You know, they don't have to subscribe, or subscribe and then put me on mute. That works too. Okay. When I'm outside, this is the kind of stuff I deal with daily. There's a lot of dogs in this neighborhood too. So right now I'm going to say namaste, bitches, and take a deep breath, relax, get over the crankiness, and wish you all well, and I will talk to you another time. Bye-bye. Look at that, it follows me.